Welcome to Daily English Stories. Hello everyone, I'm Nero from Daily English Stories. It's so great to see you all again, my amazing community of people who love exploring inspiring stories, meaningful lessons, and ways to improve our English every day. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, welcome aboard. You've just joined a wonderful group where we learn, grow, and become better versions of ourselves together. Today, I'm beyond excited to dive into a topic that I truly believe can change the way you see your life and yourself. How can we take control of our habits and, in turn, take control of our entire lives? Have you ever stopped to wonder, am I any different this year compared to last year? Are you making progress every day, or are you stuck in the same routine, living days that feel like carbon copies of each other with no real change? Habits, the little things you do daily, are like a double-edged sword. Good habits can lead you to an incredible life, while bad habits quietly drag you backward over time. The famous American psychologist William James once said, "Sow an action, and you reap a habit, sow a habit, and you reap a character, sow a character, and you reap a destiny." So, if you want to shape your future, where do you start? You guessed it, by shaping your habits. In this episode, I'm going to take you through the incredible book Atomic Habits, or Tiny Habits, in a loose translation, by James Clear, an author known for his clear, practical, and logical way of explaining things. This isn't the first book on habits I've read, but it stands out because it doesn't just throw tips or theories at you. It digs deep into how habits work and shows you how to transform them from the inside out, starting with who you are at your core. As someone who's been creating content for Daily English Stories and connecting with millions of subscribers, I've put these ideas into practice and seen real changes in my life. I'm confident that by the end of this podcast, you'll walk away with the key to unlock your own personal growth. Are you ready? Let's jump right in. So, to understand why habits matter so much, let's start with a truth that James Clear highlights in Atomic Habits: small changes can lead to massive results. But here's the catch, most of us overlook these tiny shifts. Why? Because we convince ourselves that big success requires big, dramatic actions. For example, if you want to get good at English, you might think you need to sign up for an expensive course, study 5 hours a day, or move to an English-speaking country to make it happen. But when you can't pull off those grand moves, you hesitate, procrastinate, and end up not starting at all. James Clear calls this the power of compound interest in life. He shares a fascinating formula: if you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better than when you started. On the flip side, if you slip back by 1% each day, your ability will drop to nearly zero. Sounds hard to believe, right? But picture this: you learn 5 new English words every day, nothing fancy, and after a year, you've mastered 1,825 words, enough to hold a basic conversation. But if you skip a day, then 2, and eventually forget about it, you're left with nothing. That's compound interest at work. Tiny steps, over time, build into something extraordinary. To illustrate this, James Clear uses the story of the bamboo tree, which I find incredibly motivating. Have you ever heard of bamboo? For the first 5 years of its life, even in the best conditions, you barely see it grow above ground. It looks like nothing's happening. But underground, it's quietly spreading its roots, building strength. Then, in the 6th year, like magic, it shoots up at a rate of 30 centimeters a day, reaching a height of 27 meters in just 6 weeks. Our lives are the same. When you start a good habit, like reading, exercising, or practicing English, you won't see instant results. The progress curve dips at first, what Clear calls the valley of disappointment. You wonder, is this effort even worth it? But if you push past that critical point, you'll break through, just like the bamboo soaring after years of quiet preparation. I've been there myself when I started building daily English stories. In the early days, I'd write posts, record videos, but barely anyone watched or commented. I doubted myself, should I keep going? But I told myself, just do it, even if it's small, but do it consistently. After 6 months of sticking with it, the channel started picking up, and now it's grown into a community with millions of you joining me. That's the magic of tiny habits I've lived through. Have you ever hit that valley of disappointment when starting something new? Drop your story in the comments, I'd love to hear about it. So, what's the takeaway? Don't underestimate small changes. Learning one English word a day, exercising for 5 minutes, reading 1 page, these might not dazzle you right away, but if you stay with them, you'll see miracles unfold. Live like a bamboo tree, root yourself with small habits, and one day, you'll rise higher than you ever imagined. Next, James Clear introduces a game-changing idea that I absolutely love: stop fixating on goals and start focusing on a system of habits. You've probably heard people say, I want to lose 5 kilos, I want to speak English fluently, or I want to earn $1 billion. But here's the problem: when you only stare at the finish line, you fall into a mental trap. I'll be happy when I get there. Then, when you finally arrive, you feel empty because the fire that drove you is gone, and you're left wondering what's next. Let me break it down. Say you set a goal to learn 1,000 English words in 3 months. You grind day and night, hit the target, and then what? Without a system to keep it up, you'll forget most of what you learned and slide back to square one. James Clear says instead of obsessing over the endgame, build a system, a series of small, repeatable actions that keep you moving forward. For example, rather than aiming for fluent English, focus on a system. Every day, I'll learn 5 words and practice speaking for 10 minutes. When you stick to it, you'll not only reach your goal but sustain it for life. I've experienced this firsthand. Once, I set a goal to write an English book to share on Daily English Stories. I aimed to finish 200 pages in 6 months. At first, I was fired up, but the thought of 200 pages stressed me out, and I kept putting it off. After reading Atomic Habits, I shifted my approach. I ditched the 200-page target and focused on a system: write 1 page a day. Some busy days, I only managed half a page, but I didn't quit. After 8 months, I not only finished the book but enjoyed the whole journey because I wasn't haunted by the end point. So, what's the lesson? Don't put off happiness until you hit your goal. Enjoy it now, in every little step along the way. When learning English, don't wait until you're fluent to feel good. Celebrate today because you nailed a new sentence or pronounced a tricky word perfectly. A habit system keeps you going, and the results will come naturally. What do you think of this mindset? Give it a try and let me know how it goes. Now, let's get to the heart of Atomic Habits. To stick with habits, you need to change who you are, your identity. James Clear explains that behind every action is a belief system. If your behavior doesn't match your identity, it won't last. In other words, before you do anything, you have to believe you're that person. Here's an example: if you want to keep up a running habit, don't just say, I need to run 30 minutes a day. Tell yourself, I'm a runner. When you see yourself as someone who loves movement, running stops feeling like a chore, it's just who you are. Or if you want to improve your English, don't say, I need to study vocabulary. Believe, I'm a great language learner. That belief will guide your actions, and as you repeat them, it strengthens your belief, creating a lasting cycle. I struggled with this when I tried to build a reading habit. I used to think, I'm not a reader, I'm just doing this for knowledge. No surprise, I'd abandon books halfway. But after Atomic Habits, I switched my identity. I'm a book lover. I'd read even just one page a day, thinking, this is what book lovers do. Over time, I didn't just keep the habit, I genuinely loved it. Now, reading is a huge part of my life and fuels the content I create for Daily English Stories. But James Clear warns us about something critical: don't slap negative labels on yourself or others. If you keep saying, I'm lazy, or I'm bad at English, those labels become self-fulfilling prophecies. You'll act like that, and good habits won't stick. I see this with kids a lot. Parents might yell, "Why are you so lazy?" when they see their child watching TV instead of studying. Over time, the kid believes they're lazy and stops trying. Instead, say, "You're a hard worker, you can do better." Positive beliefs spark positive actions. So, how do you change your identity? Start by asking, who do I want to be? Want to be healthy? Think, I'm a healthy person. Want to master English? Believe, I'm a global communicator. Then prove it with small steps: swap a cookie for an apple, learn one word instead of scrolling your phone. Each action is a vote for your new identity. Are you ready to redefine who you are? Start today. Next, James Clear gives us 4 logical steps to create good habits and ditch bad ones: cue, craving, response, reward. I'll walk you through each one with practical examples to help you apply them. Step 1: make it obvious. Habits start with a cue, something that triggers your behavior. James Clear says vision is our strongest sense, making up 90% of how we perceive the world. Use that to make good habits obvious. Want to read more? Don't hide books in a closet. Put them where you'll see them: on your desk, by your bed, or in your bag. I do this for Daily English Stories. I keep a small English book in my bag, and whenever I have a free moment, like waiting for the bus, I pull it out. Just 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and I finished a whole book in a month. For bad habits, make them invisible. If you snack too much in the afternoon, don't leave cookies on the table. Swap them for fruit or nuts where you can see them. When the bad cue's gone, you're less tempted. Try it, it works wonders. Step 2: make it attractive. The next step is craving: make the habit irresistible. James Clear suggests 2 tricks: habit stacking and pairing with something you love. Habit stacking: link a new habit to an existing one. Like, after my morning coffee, I'll learn 5 English words. Pairing with a love: combine what you need to do with what you enjoy. I didn't like journaling, but I love photography. So, every day, I take a photo of something cool and write a few lines about it. Now I keep up both habits and have fun doing it. If cravings are hard to resist, tap into group power. Join an English class, a running club, or a like-minded community. Seeing others do it boosts your drive. I joined an online English group once, and their encouragement kept me from skipping a single session. Step 3: make it easy. Step 3 is response: lower the difficulty. James Clear's 2-minute rule says to start with something that takes less than 2 minutes. Instead of hit the gym for an hour, begin with put on sneakers and walk for 2 minutes. Instead of read a book, read 1 page. I use this for English pronunciation. At first, I practiced 1 word for 2 minutes a day. Then it grew to 5 words, then 10, and now I'm way more confident. For bad habits, make them harder. Addicted to your phone? Delete time-sucking apps like TikTok or games. When the bad action's tough to do, you'll do it less. Step 4: make it satisfying. Finally, reward: make good habits feel good right away. James Clear notes bad habits stick because they're instantly gratifying, winning a game level, tasting a sweet treat. Good habits? The payoff's delayed. Add a quick reward to bridge the gap. After learning 10 English words, I treat myself to 5 minutes of my favorite music. Or use a habit tracker, mark an X on a calendar each day you succeed. That little check feels amazing and keeps you going. I tried this while writing scripts for Daily English Stories. Every day I finished a page, I marked it on my calendar. After a month of unbroken excess, I was proud and didn't want to break the streak. Just don't let the tracker become the goal, it's a tool, not the prize. Before we wrap up, here are 3 big lessons I've taken from Atomic Habits after applying it to my life and work on Daily English Stories. Find your own path. Good habits are a long-term investment, but everyone's journey is unique. Pick something you enjoy, even if others find it boring. Love storytelling over grammar drills? Start there. What you love will carry you far. Don't over-rely on habits. Habits help you grow, but too much routine can trap you in mediocrity. Practice with purpose, push yourself to improve. When learning English, don't just memorize words, use them in a story. That's how you hit a flow state, which I've talked about on the channel before. Reflect and adjust your identity. Habits shape who you are, but don't let them define you completely. If you stumble, don't despair. Ask, who do I want to be, and tweak as needed. I reflect monthly to keep my habits aligned with my bigger dreams. And there you have it, we've explored Atomic Habits together, the power of tiny habits, focusing on the process, shifting your identity, and the 4 steps to make good habits stick. I truly believe if you put these into action, you'll not only level up yourself but turn your life into a chain of positive ripple effects. I hope this podcast from Daily English Stories has given you fresh insights and practical value. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. It's the biggest boost to keep me creating for you all. I'd love for you to try a tiny habit, like learning 1 English word a day or reading 1 page, and drop a comment with your results. Who do you want to become with your habits? Tell me below. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next podcast on Daily English Stories. Wishing you success and a life full of meaning.